Freeland is facing challenges of her own in this race to replace Justin Trudeau. Carney has a commanding lead in money and endorsements. He's pulled in $1.9 million in donations. 83 Liberal MPs are backing his candidacy. And he's
83 MPs. This is why people are calling it a coronation, right? I think they're just that all looking to hitch a ride on his coattails. I think they're all just empty,
absolutely. That's
narcissists
what they're doing,
who stand for nothing. That's how I take those 83 MPs.
So I don't think every single one of them is, but I mean, like, there's definitely some of them who are doing it. I really don't like a huge chunk of
them, I guess, just because a lot of them are like, Philippe Champagne, even like Dominic LeBlanc. Like, I know people have spoken positively about his records previously, but his involvement in the Trudeau administration in the last, and especially this last term, it's just like you've just stood by and let it. You know what I mean? Like, he's just. I just don't think I think it's hard to hold him up to a pedestal, like on a pedestal, so to speak, anymore. Because I know a lot of especially older school liberals really liked Dominic LeBlanc, right? And apparently don't like him now since the Mar-a-Lago thing and since the last few year and a half or so. So, but anyways, Carney does look a little bit like Dracula. I'm not gonna lie.
He's drawing big crowds.
Who is ready to stand up for Canada with me?
While Freeland has released a flurry of policy proposals.
We are on the side of rules and borders and not bullies.
Her figures are a fraction of.
She sounds way more. She speaks way more passionately than Carney's so monotone, right?
I don't know. She's just sounds off as whiny.
Of Carney's with about $600,000 raised so far in 26 MP endorsements.
Yeah, we haven't even seen the latest round of conservative ads that are definitely going to be coming out. And I know that there's I think Moose and the Loose did a video about it. Was talking about there's this whole scandal apparently with attack ads or CSIS funds were used for attack ads on Pierre or something like that.
Really?
Yeah, apparently some crazy stuff. It's like, this is Trudeau. This is what Trudeau does. This is why no one trusts anyone in his cabinet, right? And I wouldn't trust Freeland for a second personally either. I don't care if you're a farm girl.
Well, I'd have
now
to
see.
I'd have to see what's happening with those CSIS things, but I mean, if that's true, that's.
I think
obviously
it was CSIS. I can't remember. It was government funds were purposed for attack ads against conservatives.
That doesn't.
Along with candidates Karina Gould and Frank Baylis will face off in 2 debates. One in French on Monday and another in English.
I only watched a few minutes of Moose's video before we did the stream, because he caught it a half hour before stream. So I'm gonna watch it later and then I'll let you know more about it. And everyone else should check it out too. He's pretty good. I honestly like Moose on the Loose. I think he's got a really good balance of how he covers things.
On Tuesday.
This is the moment for Freeland to punch through.
This political watcher says the debates are Freeland's chance to revive her stalled campaign. The stakes are lower for Carney.
I think his lead is probably significant enough that he doesn't have to come out and blow the doors off the place.
The debates come as polls show the Liberals are back in contention after months in the doldrums.
We've gone from, the Conservatives being able to win 230 seats to now it's an open question whether they could actually win a majority government.
The threat of America.
Well, I don't think it's I don't know. I think maybe that's the question, but he's gonna be the next prime minister, no matter what. What?
I said crypto for PM. I promise to only steal a little bit of your money.
Sorry, guys. My internet hiccuped a bit. Blame Elon Musk. Hopefully everyone's still there. Everyone good?
It says 30 watching on mine still.
We're good? Okay, sorry. Yeah, my Starlink hiccuped. Sorry. Yeah, so it hiccups. It'll just be no internet for 5 seconds and then boom, you're back on. Because it's reconnecting to a new satellite passing over. Usually happens if one satellite's connected to gets out of range and then it connects to another satellite that's far away, but it's in range. And it's the other way. I was looking up a thing about it and I was oh, so you can literally go 5 seconds of dead space for no reason sometimes. But it's usually very good. It never really happens. It's the first time it's happened in a while. So, but anyways, glad nothing happens. But thank you, Elon. I guess it is reliable.
American tariffs has scrambled the electoral equation, says this pollster.
It's much more about the threat that Donald Trump is posing to me, my life, my family.
The winning Liberal candidate will be announced on March 9th, and they'll have an important decision to make. Call an election right away or risk bringing back Parliament to take on Trump in this tariff fight.
Hey, thanks, Rhonda.
JP Tasker, CBC News.
Yeah, thanks for all those who like the stream, by the way. We really do appreciate it. Thank you. And those who subscribe as well. We do appreciate as well. We're actually 1 subscriber away from 2,700. So whoever subscribes next is our 2,700th subscriber. If that means anything. You don't really get any prize or anything with it. Just, bragging rights.
We would need the support of an opposition party as well, because we still have a minority government in Ottawa. So, as I said, Vashi, I don't think it's right for me to make that decision right now when we really need to see where we are on March 10th, and we need to know what it is that Canadians need in that time as well. So, I'm going to make sure that Canadians have the support that they need, that the government is focused on delivering for Canada and standing up for Canada, particularly if we are in a situation where our economy is under threat. I think that's what Canadians expect.
You mentioned you have a seat rather, in the House of Commons. I think that was in reference to the one person who's running who doesn't, or one of the people running who doesn't. That's Mark Carney. According to fundraising data filed with Elections Canada that came out this week, he's raised $1.9 million in donations from over 11,000 donors. You've raised $236,000.
That's in like less than 6
Dude,
weeks.
yeah, he's like,
it's crazy. It's actually pretty crazy. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
like, as much as I don't like Mark Carney.
I don't think that it's like a record for like the overall standard, because I think there's conservatives who've raised more money quicker, but compared to the rest of the Liberal candidates, yeah, he's just like completely dusting.
And he had
them.
what, one flagged donation, was it? And then
out of all of them,
did have more than him, 3, and then
she had 3. Yeah,
Chrystia Freeland had how many?
None.
It was none.
Baelish and Carney had 1, and then
and then Ruby Dalla had like 12 or something.
12,
10 or 12.
Dollars from 1,300 contributors. I know that that's not the full picture, that you've updated the number of donors, but it still is far less than Mark Carney. How do you convince Liberals who will be voting in just a few weeks that their vote isn't wasted with you?
Oh my goodness. I am hearing from people across the country who are so excited about my candidacy. I mean, I just got back from the prairies, had hundreds of people out in Alberta and Saskatchewan to meet with me. People drove a couple of hours to come see me from more rural parts. There is so much momentum and excitement building across the country. And what I'm hearing from Liberals is that they are...
Do you guys know anyone who's excited about Karina Gould coming to the picture? I'm just curious. I don't.
Not personally, but I think she's probably like... I remember when she was talking before, like, I think she is pretty popular within her own district. And like, she's probably good at people on like a personal level. I just don't think she's this face, dude. Holy.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
I don't think that she's going to be able to recover from the Trudeau stuff. I don't think that anybody's going to be able to shake that off. Even Carney, who is I would argue the least out of the 3 close to Trudeau, he's still going to struggle with that, right?
Yeah.
Like it's going to be way easier for the Conservatives to paint her as a part of the Trudeau government, because she's literally one of his front benchers.
Well, I'm
right?
curious to see like how this debate's going, because I feel like out of this debate, like I don't know who's going to come on top, but I feel like it's going to be Chrystia Freeland or Mark Carney. Obviously, I feel like those are the only real 2 contenders. And even then, I feel like Chrystia Freeland, like, she's been so quiet. It's like weird. I almost feel like she is just going to be stepping out of the way and try to become deputy leader for Carney. I think that's her plan.
I don't think he would do that for her. I don't think she deserves it either.
Right? Like, I mean, he's the godfather to her children. You never know.
That's something that she decides, right? Because I mean, she's still running against him right now.
Polyev saying that this was like a plan that they had to install Mark Carney? Him and Scheer have been saying this since like March 2023. I feel like they've been saying this is going to happen. And then it happened. And now it's like, this leadership debate. I feel like Frank Bayless is just an outsider who's just trying to take the crown, so to speak. I don't know how well he's going to do, but a leader who can get French support, like, people underestimate how powerful that is in Canada. Especially since like I feel like Francophones are very reluctant to support most leaders. So if you have one leader they like that most Francophones like look how well the Bloc does provincially, right? Like, it's just like, it's crazy.
Are excited and glad that I'm in the race, and they're very hopeful about what the results are going to be in a couple of weeks. And look, I think it's terrific that this leadership race is engaging the diversity of people that we have in this country, that they are not just signing up, but they're also making donations, and that's a really good thing for the party.
If there was
Thank God for the diversity in her donations.
The level of excitement that you're expressing, would that not be reflected in the fundraising numbers? Like, he is so far ahead of you and your other candidates.
Yeah, and that's great. That's lots of money that is available for not just this leadership race, but also for the party. But I've had thousands of people donate to my campaign as well, placing us second in this leadership race. And there's still 2.5 weeks to go, and we know that a day or a week in politics can sometimes be.
I have not seen her beating Freeland at all, but Freeland's been really quiet. Like I said, like, I haven't seen Chrystia Freeland like campaign at all. Like she did that one CTV interview. That's it. Oh, and the CNN interview. That's like, she's been so silent. You know what I mean? It's weird. That's why I feel like her name in the ring, like I feel like since the beginning, I think I said it on stream, that she was probably just trying to gather support from the rest of the candidates, then drop out the last second, and then suggest everyone who wanted to vote for her vote for Mark Carney.
Well, usually the other thing too is that they don't know how Mark Carney is going to poll, right? There's a good chance that tonight we'll have the debates.
Hypothetical polls, and he's doing really good, like on these hypothetical polls.
Like I said, things can change really quickly. Like if something was to come out about Carney,
Freeland's. I didn't think she was, but
no, yeah. Freeland's 226, I think, 226,000, and Carney's 1.9 million. Yeah, that's
for fundraising. Yeah, like, that's what she hasn't even
Christopher Freeland's only collected from. Christopher Freeland's got 226. Listen to this. Christopher Freeland's got 226,661 from only 332 donors.
Okay.
Carney's got 1.9 million, but he's got 11,260 donors. So he's like 4 times the donations and almost 10 times the money. So his donations are pretty big too. But
that's what I mean. It's like he's like the only real. Like I don't think the rest stand a chance except for billionaire Bayless's bank account is bigger than these funds. If they can use their personal money, Bayless, like he's like the most.
Well, they're not supposed to
net worth out of all these candidates.
Even the entry thing that's supposed to be raised in donations, I'm pretty sure, right? That 350,000, they're supposed to get $350,000 worth of donations.
Yeah, no, I understand that, but they can put a certain amount of their own money. It's like there is a limit. It's like 50K or 10%, or I can't remember the exact number.
Be a lifetime. So, there's lots of time left in this leadership race, and I just continue to feel that momentum and continue to be so encouraged by the support that I'm getting right across the country.
Crap. Yeah, okay, so listen to this.
She's just being a pick.
Mark Carney, based on those donation numbers, Mark Carney's average donation is $168. Christopher Freeland's average donation is $682. Those are huge. Like
I
big,
just feel like
donations.
there's something off about Christopher Freeland's whole campaign mode. Like I would be surprised if she was taking this seriously. I do feel
I just think that
it's possible that she's just trying to take votes away from Gould and Bayless and then drop out the last second to pave the way for Mark Carney. I feel like come on, like he's the godfather to her children. Come on.
How does that help him though?
Come on.
If she's in, how does that help him?
How does that help him if she's in? I don't know. At this point, well, she's the second highest polling person in the race, right?
I know, but like if she wasn't, maybe some of that support would have gone to him, and only a small amount, I assume. I don't imagine all of it. Even if it had all gone to Karina Gould, she still wouldn't be beating Mark Carney, right? I think that the reason they're running these people is because these people realistically did want to lead the party, and we don't know what's going to happen right now. It's too early for them to pull their names out. There hasn't even been a single debate. There's been no conversations at all between the members running. After this debate, we'll get a much more realistic picture, or the two debates. I think after the English language debate, we'll get a way more realistic picture.
I'm going to try and figure out what's going on there. I'm going to watch that tonight, even if it's not translated, and try and look at their faces and stuff and see what I can pick up from it.
See, there's probably going to be subtitles at least.
I feel like it'll be really, it's honestly, even if it was translated and subtitled, it'd be boring as hell to cover, because like we watched debates in the House of Commons, right? Like imagine that for a leader. It's going to be the same crap, right? So I feel like waiting for the English debate's a good move, and we're going to do the English debate tomorrow night, and we'll see where these people all stand. We'll put some, if you had money, if you're going to place your bets on what a horse you're going to bet's going to win, I'm going to bet it's going to be Carney because it's like the amount of support he has, just like every single variable. There's a possible coronation going on, possibly. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying it's very Game of Thronesy to anticipate stuff going on.
I mean, the chat, everybody here knows how much I like Carney, but I'm still going to couch. I don't know. Anything could happen. Nothing's really happened at this point, right? This is all speculation. It's all just based on like
you wouldn't place it on Carney.
If I had to place a bet, I do Carney probably, but it's a close one.
Unfortunately, it's battle for prime minister. Unfortunately,
I think Freeland's pretty good in environments like that. Like I think that's the one environment that she does kind of excel in. She is pretty good in the House of Commons when she's arguing. Yeah, being a bitch, right? Like it's a positive trait when you're arguing with people, is to be able to be assertive and kind of bitchy, right? Like I feel like it's hard for female politicians, because if you're a guy, you have the exact same tone. You just sound assertive and confident. And a lot of the time with girls, because they're like trying to sound loud and assertive at the same time.
You come off as
think arrogant. Of a single example. Think of a single example of a female politician who sounds just assertive, and they don't sound like they're
Michelle
being
Ferrari.
kind of shrill or annoying at all.
Michelle Ferrari.
If you say Melissa Lantsman, I'm going to be really
Michelle
upset. It has to be-
Ferrari.
Don't say that.
Michelle Ferrari. I don't even like Melissa Lantsman.
Oh, what's going on here?
It's all new to me. I don't even like Melissa Lantsman personally. I like Michelle Ferrari a lot more.
You cut off for there for 1 second. My phone rang and my.
Oh,
my
I was
What did you say?
saying Michelle Ferrari to answer your question, not Melissa Lantsman. I don't like Melissa Lantsman personally.
I think she can come off as
I
a
hope
little
he
bit
gets a
to
new
people who
deputy
don't
leader,
agree with her. You don't
personally.
think she comes off as a little bit annoying?
Maybe, but she just comes off as like
I don't
passive
know.
and
That's
strong.
why I think
she doesn't come off as like shrill, like.
I think she's good too.
Speaker."
I don't
Like, it's
have a
just this,
problem
like-
with her.
Anyway, yeah, Daniel Smith. That's a good example of a strong woman. Doesn't come off annoying and shrill. She can be a
Daniel
bit of a-
Smith,
a bit
actually,
of a
that's
B
a really
word,
good
though.
example.
She
Actually,
can be very tough.
I think
though.
Daniel Smith.
Don't get me wrong.
You
You're not
have
wrong
to
in
be-
that sense,
okay,
but like
just one
in
second.
a
Give me a
way,
second.
I like Daniel Smith though. I like Michelle Ferrari. But anyway, Saul's doing this. We're gonna get back to the interview. We're getting sidetracked here.
So let me try and ask this as tactfully as I possibly can, because I'm sure you're observing headlines in the same way that I am, right? This idea that it's a fait accompli, that Mr. Carney is so far ahead in public opinion polling, not just vis-a-vis the other candidates, but other parties as well, that he is out fundraising you and your other colleagues to such a great degree that this is essentially a done deal. Is that not a fair assumption given the data that is available?
Well, Vashi, you've watched a lot of elections over time, and you know as well as I do that polling is a moment in time, and you can start a race in one place and end it in a very different place. So, what I've seen and what I've felt in my candidacy is just continued building momentum. From where I started, my goodness, how long ago was it? 5 weeks ago, to where I am today. It's just building more support, more donations, more volunteers coming on board, more people reaching out saying that they're going to be voting for me and excited about it. So, we've got 2.5 weeks to go, and I'm just going to keep that momentum building.
I want to ask about some of the policy.
My government's fiscal policy will focus first on reining in government spending. At the same time, we will focus on catalyzing unprecedented levels of private investment across Canada.
He's planning to cook the books with a sneaky accounting trick to take billions of dollars of new Liberal spending off the budget records altogether.
And part of the reason how we've ended up in these times is because of a certain type of politician perfecting their art, which is focused on slogans, slander, sound bites.
I noticed that Mr. Carney uses a lot of slogans. He has been sloganeering his entire leadership campaign while I've been laying out real...
Yeah, I don't know why Pierre said that. Like, he literally has a slogan right there. I don't know why. I thought that was Pierre's worst mistake, was saying that, crap talking Mark Carney for using slogans. So, yeah.
Concrete
I think the rest of the speech
plans.
was fine too, wasn't it?
Neck and neck,
Just the
there
one-
are
I
still
think he
2
was,
weeks
like,
left in the Liberal
retaliating,
leadership
right?
race, but Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre has his sights set on presumptive frontrunner Mark Carney, as you heard there. New polling this week also shows the Liberals continuing to close the gap with the Tories, who've been nearly double digits ahead for almost 2 years, but could now be tied or close to it, depending on the poll, if Carney were to become leader. The race's hopefuls, meanwhile, are set to square off in 2 debates this week, in French tomorrow, in English Tuesday, both in Montreal. Plus, speculation is swirling that the winner could be angling to seize on the party's current momentum and call a snap election soon thereafter. So what is the state of this race, and what are the takeaways for each party if we are headed for a general election call within the month? Our Sunday strategy session is here to talk about that. Shannon Phillips is a former NDP MLA and cabinet minister in Alberta. James Moore is a former Conservative cabinet minister, and Scott Reid is a CTV News political analyst, as well as former communications director to Prime Minister Paul Martin. Hi, everybody. It's very good to see you. Thanks for making the time. James, I'll start with you, because Conservatives for the past few weeks have been saying, look, Carney's got this momentum because he's untested, essentially. He's not getting a lot of pushback or scrutiny to the degree that other...
Well, he also hasn't hit the debate stage yet with someone who's, even though we're going to see the Liberal leadership debate, where imagine a federal, like between him and Pierre in a debate, he's going to get ripped apart, I think. Like, I don't think Carney can debate. Like, even in those committee meetings with him and Pierre, like, he was getting ripped apart constantly. Like, you say he was, I know you said he was caught off guard previously, but he was there for
I don't think that he was
days.
prepared for a big debate.
I don't know. I just think it's
hopefully he's doing media training right now, right? Like, that's what he should be doing, using all his time for, is to training for conversations like that, because I don't think he's that good at it. I don't think he's good at explaining like complicated policy stuff in a way that people can just understand without listening really closely too. Like, I think he gets way too wordy with the way he explains things. Yeah, he needs to work on it.
Well, and the thing is, I like Pierre's slogans personally. I just think Pierre made a mistake by saying Carney just uses slogans. I was like, wait, what? Like, come on, man. Like, that's like that's like your thing. Your thing is slogans. You know what I mean? Like, you're the slogan master. Like, you know what I mean? He's like, he's just mad he's coming after his title for slogan master.
Political leaders are or have been. Will these debates change that, do you think?
They could. Well, he is largely untested. I joke that there are three great love affairs in history, Romeo and Juliet, Will and Kate, and Mark Carney in the national media. He has been largely untested. He hasn't exposed himself to a lot of interviews. The debates will matter. The challenge for Mark Carney is to show that he can withstand some pressure because he hasn't been there at all. This is not a rookie job, being the prime minister of the country and leader of a national political party. And a lot of people don't survive the scrutiny, and that's the standard for him to meet.
So I'm very curious, Scott, what you think the debates will or what will unfold during the debates. Only because, first of all, they're going to be 2 hours. They're quite long. Normally, front runners are on the defense,
2 hours
but these
long.
are like not, people.
Yeah, it's 8 p.m. Eastern to 10 p.m. So they're going to be going 8 to 10 p.m. where they are, but we're PST, so we get the nice dinner time show. But yeah,
that's a lot of.
We're going to be watching that.
That's a long time for such a small amount of candidates too. There's not very many of them.
Yeah. So we'll be streaming that live tomorrow, by the way, guys, if anyone wants to watch that. And we'll try and stream every federal political debate. Like the Ontario debate, we didn't really, like the Ontario election, we didn't cover very much, but anything upcoming federally, we'll definitely be covering, especially when we get into the actual election, which I think, honestly, if everyone wants an election, Mark Carney winning is actually going to bring an election. He's the only one I think that's actually going to call an election if he gets elected as prime minister. Like if he gets elected as liberal leader, I think he's the only one who would actually call an election. So we'll see what happens.
Well, for sure.
People
Anyways,
from other
to Genghis too in the chat, he says if slogans are good, they resonate. It's hard to get a large population of people to agree on things. Keep it simple and straightforward. I really agree with this. I think that's right. And I think that's what I was saying. I think Poilievre's really, really good at that. And Carney, so far, I have not seen him be very good at it.
Yeah. Well, I think Carney's going to get dragged through the mud right now it's between Carney, Freeland, and Gould and Bayless. Okay. What's it going to be like when it's between Carney and Pierre? You know what I mean? Like it's going to be
way
different ball game. You know what I mean? So I'm excited to see. I think that right now what we're seeing is definitely, there does seem to be this air of Prince about him. I'll actually give Genghis that because I'm not going to debate. I'm not going to deny that. I think that though is just a sign of these liberals thinking, they're just vultures flocking to who they think is going to be the most successful. Right. I guess that was my argument before, is that it's just not motivated by a grand conspiracy.
Political parties, it's other fellow liberals who ultimately want to see the party succeed in the election. So do you think they go at him hard or is it with kid gloves?
Hey, Cryptomeria.
I think they're probably going to reserve their fire mostly for Pierre Poilievre, but there will inevitably, over the course of 2 hours, be some scraps. But that's not really what the test of the debate's going to be. The test of the debates will be how Mark Carney performs in French. I think that's going to be the thing that people will watch for. And, I
guess that does matter because, the Quebec vote, I think, is going to matter a lot. That's where Pierre's support is the weakest, is Quebec. So
just look at the dynamic of the polling in Quebec. If there's
unironically, somebody like Frank Bayless might be a better match against Carney or Poilievre for Quebec, right? Like, I don't know how well Carney's doing.
I think that's why Bayless has put his hat in the ring. I think he thinks he has I think this is the battle for official opposition. I don't think any of them have a chance at winning. So I think that we'll definitely be seeing people who want to just get it, who don't have intention on winning to become long-term prime minister. But I feel like Carney is the only one in the hypothetical polls that is doing so high. So I feel like he's going to be the most motivated based on the actual polls that come out after he is put as interim prime minister. I feel like that's when he would be like, all right, now I'm going to call the election. I don't think Jagmeet Singh is actually going to ever force it no matter who wins. I don't think he's ever going to call an election, ever.
Oh yeah, Jagmeet Singh's a goober. He needs to be out of there. I hope that the NDP just gets crushed in this and we just get a majority one way or the other. That's just really what I'm hoping for. It's probably not going to happen. It's going to be some kind of crap. The problem with the problem for the Conservatives too is they don't have anybody to make a coalition with right now, right? If there is a minority,
I think
the Liberals are able to do that with the NDP, but they're not able to do that, right? Unless some kind of miracle world happened and the Liberals and the Conservatives were able to agree on some stuff and just get some things passed, and maybe then call another election if you really want to, if they want to consolidate behind one of the candidates for sure. But like if they were able to get some stuff done together, I feel like the Conservatives and the Liberals have more overlap in policy right now than the Liberals and the NDP do at the time. Like I think that that's the direction they're going in anyways.
Yeah, and just just remind everyone, just try and be respectful of each other in the chat. But yeah, basically like this whole thing, like I think it's good that people are getting excited about Carney, because like, yeah, I don't like Carney personally. I would much rather Pierre Poilievre in a strong majority conservative government. However, at the same time, at least you see people who are fired up again. And I think the more people in this country that participate, the better. And I think that's how you get a more accurate representation of what this country actually wants, right? And I think that is what we're going to be seeing in the following year or so. Like we're going to see this all unfold. We're going to enter this new era of Canadian politics. I feel the era of Trudeau is finally coming to an end. We're on the
it's definitely over. Yeah,
trail of it now. We're still technically there.
It's overdone. It's ripe. It's expired.
Yeah, we're like 3 weeks away from it ending.